At Rockmount, one of our guiding principles is that if you're going to do a job, do it right and use the right tool. Today we're going to talk about shaping metal with carbide burrs. Rockmount LaserBest burrs come in a variety of different sizes and shapes. They're all made to fit specific applications, depending on what you want to do with them. When you use a carbide burr, you want it to work, just like any good tool. And one of the reasons customers are so happy with the LaserBest carbide burrs are they're made with the highest quality tungsten carbide you can buy. They are double cut, which means they're cut in two different directions to increase the speed of the cut, the coolness of the cut, because just like a drill bit, when a tool is cutting, it's running cooler. And thirdly, they tend not to clog up like many burrs do. So you've got a long-lasting tool that is fast-cutting, efficient, and very useful. Now I'm going to show you a couple things you can do with a tungsten carbide burr. What I've done is drill a 1/4-inch hole in this piece of flat stock steel, and I'm going to use our LaserBest step reamer to ream it out to a 1/2-inch hole. If you haven't seen our video on these step reamers, take a look. These are incredible tools too, and very useful. So I have my 2 holes drilled in this piece of steel, and now I want to make a slot. Let's say I'm fabricating something where I need a little bit of adjustability for the bolt. If I didn't have a carbide burr, I probably would be forced to try to drill another hole in the middle. I could twist that drill bit maybe and try to ream some of that material out, but none of those things work very well. Well, there are a number of different burrs I could use for this job. I could use a round one, but I'm going to use this flame. And I like this because it's easy to get down in there and work through it. So let's make these 2 holes a slot. And there you go, just like that, you've got a nice slot cut. A lot safer and a lot easier than trying to do it in any other way. Now, let's say for instance you're working on some cast iron. This is a mount off a truck that would be used for mounting the radiator to the frame. And let's say for instance this is cracked. If you wanted to fix it, you could grind it, but the problem with grinding cast iron is that when you grind cast iron, you're increasing the likelihood of the weld cracking dramatically. At the edge of the weld, where you want that weld to be softest, you will, by grinding up this high carbon cast iron, you're going to impact that carbon at the edges of that gouge that you've made. And when you weld in it, the edges of that weld are going to be incredibly brittle. That's why you want a carbide burr. You want to use a burr to prepare some of these kinds of pieces of cast iron so you get a quality repair without any kind of trouble down the road after you've welded it. And that's all there is to it. If this was a crack, I would bevel probably from both sides and get down to the bottom of the crack, then weld it up with one of our Jupiter cast iron products. But what I've done here by using the carbide burr is give myself a perfect surface to weld on. It's clean, and I don't have any excess carbon at the weld edge to cause me side cracking down the road. In this scenario, I have a welded corner, a fillet weld, and I want to take that weld out. The final shape that you want to achieve when you're done is going to be the determining factor which burr you choose. You might want one with a rounded end, a small rounded end. You may want a small flame shape for getting back in tight corners and just taking a little bit of material out. You may want something like this, a bigger square-ended mill that has cutting surfaces on the bottom as well as the sides, where when you burr it, it's going to end up giving you a square result. And that's what I've chosen for this one. I'll show you how it works. You can see how quickly I've taken that weld out, and I have a nice square corner. If I want to shape it up and smooth it out, I can easily do that. Well, I'll show you something else that a carbide burr is handy for. Let's say you want to countersink a hole for one of these screws. This is how you do it. Just like that, you've got a really nice countersink. All you have to do is drill the hole and you're ready to go. If you want to countersink a larger screw, you can use a larger burr. And now you've got a countersink for a larger screw head. Well, we did a number of jobs with our carbide burrs today. We made a square corner. We countersunk a couple holes. We cut a slot in a strap. And we burred cast iron as though we were preparing it for welding. So there's a quick primer on carbide burrs. No faster, easier way to make delicate metal adjustments. And when you use these various tools and get comfortable using them, you'll be amazed how much more precise you can be in your metal forming and shaping, and how much easier it is to do many of these jobs you do. So I hope you'll give them a shot. And until next time, thanks.